We hear now the interpretation that the disciple asked of Jesus. Jesus dismissed the congregation and went into the house. His disciples came in and said, "Explain to us that story of the thistles in the field." So he explained, "The farmer who sows the pure seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world. The pure seeds are subjects of the kingdom. The thistles are subjects of the devil. And the enemy who sows them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the age, the curtain of history. The harvest hands are angels." The picture of thistles pulled up and burned is a scene from the final act. The Son of Man will send his angels, weed out the thistles from his kingdom, pitch them in the trash, and be done with them. They are going to complain to high heaven, but no one is going to listen. At the same time, right, holy lives will mature and adorn the kingdom of their Father. Are you listening to this? Really listening? This is the word of God, the people of God.
Thanks be to God.
This is one of those lessons where we try to imagine where we fit in the story. We all want to be flowers, pretty flowers, like the kind Carol placed on the altar this morning. But the truth is, we all have within us the capacity for weed-like behavior. There was a story told, or it was recorded in Greek history, of an encounter between Alexander the Great and one of his soldiers. During this particular battle, the soldier had acted in a less than heroic fashion. And his leader took him to Alexander for punishment. And Alexander the Great said to the man, "What is your name?" And the man said, "My name is Alexander." And the response was, "Either change your name or change your behavior." And so that's where we are. This picture is of a wheat field with darnel in it. And darnel is believed to be the thistles in this passage. You can see that this farmer, it almost looks like he or she is trying to grow darnel. When in fact they had planted wheat. And the thing about darnel, or thistles, is that they grow and have a mimic characteristic to real wheat. And to the point where some call it fool's wheat, or artificial, or pretend wheat. And this darnel, its roots go down and intertwine with the wheat. And so you can't pull up the weed without pulling up the wheat. Now, what does that say to us then this morning? I mean, here we are, and you look wonderful. Even if you're not wearing a hat. But you look marvelous. Isn't that what I said last week? That you are as good as God can create. You're the pure seed. That's what we want to believe. But sometimes we're not. Sometimes we act like weeds. We are where we shouldn't be. Sometimes we grow in ways that disturb those around us. Sometimes we grow uncontrollably and we take over everything around us and we undermine what others are doing. Now, when you hear a passage like this, we want to, in the church, think that we're the good seed. Because, after all, we're Christians. And we're the chosen ones. No one laughed at that. There's a couple of nervous kind of smiles. You know who you are. But when we look at a passage like this, we look at who is doing the work. Who is at the center of this story? It is God. God creates the world. God created the seed. God created the sower. Well, I won't go there. God begat the sower. I mean, that might be a different way of saying it. You know, we come to a passage like this, and if we're honest, we can admit to ourselves and to God that sometimes our life needs a little bit of weeding. Sometimes we need help separating the good in our life from that which is not profitable. None of us, is or are, none of us is perfect. Thank you. She thinks I married her for sermon illustrations. I actually married her as a proofreader. In John Wesley's notes on the New Testament, one of the foundational publications of our faith tradition, he wrote this, and he quotes an ancient saying, "No evil from thee proceed, 'tis only suffered, not decreed. As darkness is not from the sun, nor mount the shades till he is gone." What he meant was, and what this means to us here in this congregation and throughout the valley, wherever you happen to be living or going this day, is that there's nothing in your life that is not there for a reason. Now, don't mistake me. I'm not saying if you're suffering or if you're in pain or if you're going through whatever circumstance that is from God. As Wesley said, suffering happens. Weeds happen. God did not create sin. We are not given sin so we can use it up before we get to heaven. Wesley and those like him taught that sin is anything that comes between you and God. You may have heard the saying, "The devil made me do it." As if that somehow absolves us from the responsibility of what is happening. You see, in a passage like this, we want to be the good seed. We want to be harvested at the end and taken into the barn where it's safe and dry, where we're finally able to do what we were planted to do. But sometimes, if we're honest, in our weed-like moments, we know that we have also planted weeds in someone else's garden. If you're a gardener or a farmer, you know the problems that weeds can cause. If you're a rancher, you know those problems of pests in the field that when not even the sheep will eat something. The challenge for us this morning and throughout the rest of this week, as I said to the children, is look at your life. Look at the choices that you're making. Look at yourself. And ask God for help in weeding your garden, weeding the patch of earth that you occupy. And then, having received mercy, help someone else with their patch. Not because you're better or you're now pure, but because you know what it's like to have your life congested and clogged with weeds. Together, we can make a difference. We can transform the world for the gospel of Christ. We were not put here to complain about the weeds. We were put here to grow beautifully in God's own garden. Amen. I would invite you to stand as you are able as we sing together.